My little helper is right here beside me. Curly, can you? You can't see him. He's just below the camera angle here. Hi and welcome. This is Jackie Schwartz with Planet Einstein, and today we're going to just have a real short discussion about pricing items on eBay. That's a critical factor in your success. If you're starting a new eBay store, you're probably wondering, how on earth do I know what people would be willing to pay for it? Well, the answer to that question is you really don't, but the good news is you can rely on some history to show you what things like it have sold for in the past. So I'm going to give you an example of something that I just listed today, and I will tell you a little bit about how I discovered his price was a little more than I initially thought it would be because of his brand. And as you can see, probably as well as I could, the brand name is about worn off. Once I did the research, and I'm going to tell you real quickly what I'm talking about in terms of doing research. One of the ways that you can research the history of something like this that you're going to sell on eBay is to look at things that look like it, that are very, very similar or exactly the same. Sometimes you will find exactly the same piece. If it's a name brand and something that was widely sold, then your chances are pretty good that you're going to find it somewhere in the records of eBay past sales. So what I do first is enter into the search bar on eBay is things that are currently listed. And for this, I used Rooster Ceramic Pitcher, because he's a little pitcher. And that's a very broad way to research, and it brought up literally thousands of items that were even resembling a rooster or resembling a pitcher. So that helped me first start narrowing it down. Then when I realized there were so many and I didn't want to scroll through thousands and thousands of them, I did discover that he was probably made in Italy. So I added the word Italy to the search, and that brought up roosters that looked a lot like him and a couple that were exact matches. So my initial pricing for this little picture was that I was thinking it's probably worth somewhere between $20 and $30. But then once I went on and narrowed my search down to the fact that he was made in Italy, I discovered that what I couldn't read on the bottom actually said Williams Sonoma. And I was able to identify this and then search for just Williams Sonoma rooster vase. And once I saw what was currently listed, and by the way, I usually search those currently listed by putting best match from highest to lowest price. The default on eBay will show you typically lowest price first. So you have to adjust the settings to rearrange the order. I want to see what the highest price it's going for all the way down to the lowest price that it's listed for. Then you change your settings to find out all of the items exactly like this that have sold in the last 90 days. And the way I do that is to change my search to sold listings. And that shows me exactly what price this item sold for. So now I know that the highest price listing that I was able to research was $39.99. The lowest price was somewhere around $20. So I knew that his ideal price was somewhere between $20 to $40. Then I saw that actually in some of the solds that it had sold for more than the $39.99, which is the current highest listing. So that showed me that I was probably safe to list him on the upper end of the scale of that, 30 to 40, or maybe even a little bit higher price range. My philosophy is start high. You can always come down. And I always put best offer on my listings. You have a choice of sell it now or sell it as at an auction or do best offer. Well, I get some low offers, yes, but I either counter those or just ignore them if they're really, really bad, or just reject them right out. So anyway, what I ultimately decided to do, since the current high listing, active listing, was $39.99, I decided to price mine a little under that so I would not be the highest price of this item, but I would still be up there with kind of the mid-range upper end of what the true value of this cute little picture is. So that is the basic philosophy of how my thinking goes when I'm listing an item. Sometimes you have an item like this one. I mean, here, I'll show you my bunny again. I cannot find him. I cannot find the exact match, and he actually has felt on the bottom, and I don't want to peel it off to see if there's a label under there. And right now, I'm keeping him for myself, so I don't really care what his value is. But sometimes you just have to take an educated guess and find something similar that's close enough, and then see what the marketplace will do. If it doesn't sell within a reasonable period of time, then the market has told you your price is too high in all likelihood. Or they may have told you something like, I don't like your vase, Jackie, or your picture, or your bunny. So, all right, Curly's starting to get adamant about wanting to go out, so I'll end this here today. And if you want to buy him, he is for sale on Planet Einstein eBay store. So have a happy rest of the week. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for being with me. Bye.